So I thought some people might be interested in this project I've been working on over the last couple of days. I'm pretty sure you can tell what it is already, but basically this clock, I guess, I've been planning to build something like this for a while, but I've never really got around to it. So I've finally done it, and it works pretty awesome, I reckon. There would be a few things that, you know, I would have liked to have done better, but well, it's done now and it works, so I'm not going to touch it anymore. So basically it's just a giant 7-segment RGB display. Each digit is A3 paper size, so 420 by 297, and it's made purely of MDF, some frosted acrylic and styrofoam. Originally I was going to use the dumb LED strip, the RGB LED strip you can get really cheaply, where basically the whole roll can just be, it can be any colour, but the whole roll has to be that one colour. I did try using that, but well, with these little, I have them here somewhere, these little drivers I designed, they basically just use the WS2811 or something like that, and they're designed to just, it's not going to focus, but solder onto the end of the regular LED strips and allow me to serial control them. But I tried using these, and just because the foam has to sit flat on the backboard to stop light leaking through, there really had to be as minimal wiring in there as possible, so I ended up just using a addressable LED strip, which is totally overkill and like makes the project a fair bit more expensive than it should have been, but in the end it sort of works a lot better, I reckon. But it also means that each segment, as you can see, it's got 4 LEDs in it, so each segment can actually be faded to a different colour. But not that I really use that. I haven't really programmed it to do much with the colours yet, apart from the little divider in the middle. It sort of goes from green to red depending on how far into the second it is. But excuse me. As you can see, all the digits are sort of just modular units with an in and an out cable on them, and they all just run back to this. Well, this is the controller box here. Just basically just got a couple buttons on it for some settings and an LDR, which I'll explain in a bit. Power input, output to the digits, and yeah, it's just daisy chained all the way along. It's just running off 12 volts. So I thought what I'd do is I'll just sort of show you how I've made the digits up. It's really simple. I haven't glued any of this in, or I'm not going to glue it, but sort of everything was laser cut, so it sort of fits fairly well. So yeah, just a 3mm piece of frosted acrylic on the front here. Take that off. Put that down there. And then on the inside of that, as you can see, you've got the LEDs and stuff, and then this is just basically a layer of foam and MDF. So I've got MDF on the front, which sort of just defines the shape of the digits a bit better. And on the back we've just got some styrofoam. My laser cutter's got a fairly short focal length lens, and this foam was a bit thicker than I was sort of hoping to get, but it's really all I could find. So as you get towards the sort of the back of it, the foam's more melted than cut, so the little bridges between the digits were fairly short, so I had to cut some just some MDF little dividers, I guess. They're not perfect because there are a few sort of gaps between them, but I can just put some duct tape or something over that. But yeah, this basically just, well, I'll show you the LEDs first. So yeah, these are the LED setup in here. I was one connector short, so that's why this is all sort of just hanging around the place, but basically we've got the power coming in here. This is the data input, and then the data sort of runs around in a shape like that, comes out here, and then that'll go off to the next output. So, this is the 30 LED per meter strip. So there's four LEDs per segment. But yeah, they're actually really simple construction, really. And like I said, because it's all laser cut, it all sort of fits together really nicely. So just got it leaning up on a wall here. But they're all separate units, and they don't really have addresses as such, so oops. Try and and not knock it off the table. So basically you can unplug any of these segments and sort of swap them around, or plug it in any configuration you want and it'll still work. So you can just, you know, if you just want hours or something, or you just want to make it a countdown clock, just, you know, unplug it and take a digit off. Just plug it back in and it comes straight back. Yeah, apart from that, I haven't really figured out how I'm going to mount this on the wall yet. I'm sort of always in rental houses, so I'm a bit limited as to putting nails and stuff in the wall. So what I'll probably end up doing is just grab like a piece of wood and then screw all these to one central piece of wood, and then I can just put, say, 2 hooks in the wall and then hang it up like that, which saves me having to get all these straight and level at the same time as well. So yeah, this is the little controller I've built for it. It's basically just an Arduino. We've got a USB port on it with a real-time clock, and then we've got an LDR in the corner. It's also got a 12 to 5, well, it's a 12 and 24 down to 5 volt buck converter, and that's because all this runs on 5 volt, and well, high current 5 volt adapters are not so easy to come by, so decided to go with 12 or 24 volt input, which works just as well anyway, because you can get a lot smaller 12 volt plug pack at a lower current. But yeah, the controller basically just, well, I'll explain what the LDR does first, but I think you could probably already tell. Because the LED strips are just so damn bright, I thought it'd probably be, you know, best to basically allow the thing to dim itself at night, or if you shut the curtains or something like that. So the LDR, basically if I just cover it up here, you can see the brightness of the whole thing just dims right down. So yeah, that just means basically when it becomes nighttime, it'll automatically turn its brightness down so it just doesn't light up your whole room, or light up the whole room. So I thought that was pretty neat. Just, it's got a hell of a lot of smoothing on it though, as you can see, because otherwise it'd flicker pretty badly. But with the buttons on it, obviously you've just got the time settings, hour, minute. This is brightness, so you can actually, you know, have a manual brightness too if you want. But so just leave it on auto. But I just put that there just because why not? Oops. So yeah, actually that's 99. So yeah, you probably can't see it that well because the camera sort of auto adjusts the exposure, but that's full brightness, and you know, in the dark it's pretty much lights up the room enough that you can read by it. The whole thing, if you draw, you know, basically full brightness white 8s, draws about 6 to 8 amps or so, but you really have to run it at full brightness. In fact, I don't think I'll really go over 50% brightness even. So yeah, just leave it on auto mode. The next menu thing is auto brightness. This is basically the maximum it'll go using the LDR, so as you can see it's at about 50. So yeah, that just defines how bright it'll go with the LDR in total. And then also you've got time format as well, so 12 or 24 hour time. I don't know, I just prefer 12, but I thought I'd put the option in there anyway. But yeah, that's basically it. I haven't really, like I said, I haven't really programmed the colours to do much just yet. The way I've done it with the code, it's a little bit tricky to get something like that working, because basically what I've done, I'll show it here. Basically I've just got an array with all the like the pixels in it, so pixel 1, 2, 3, 0, 1 and 2, 0, 1, 2 and 3 are all the first segment. So basically that defines the 0 shape, so it turns on all the segments except for the middle one. But the way it works is, if you go down here, basically that's the function I've come up with there. You can read it, probably not. But basically you specify which digit you want it to draw it on, so which which panel, I guess. Then you specify what you want it to actually draw, so that's the first digit of the hour, and then the colour, so RGB. So that basically only allows me to set a per digit colour at the moment, but I would like to actually sort of make it a bit more interactive than just displaying set colours, seeing as I use the addressable strip and I can make each segment do whatever I want. It'd be nice to be able to use that feature, but I mean obviously you don't want it to be too obnoxious too obnoxious at the same time. Well, I mean, it's a giant clock, so it's obnoxious anyway, but if it starts flashing and all that. I was going to add seconds, but then I decided sort of if you've got seconds changing constantly, it lights up the room enough as it is, so if you've got a value that's changing, you know, every second, the room's sort of just going to be flashing constantly, so I sort of decided against that for now. But like I said, with this system, it's sort of really easily expandable anyway, so I can add it later if I want to. But the digits, the divider there does a pretty good job at, you know, sort of telling you how far into the seconds it is. But anyway, I thought I'd just share that. I probably will do a bit of a write-up, or not really a how-to guide, but sort of a write-up on how I went about building this, and maybe I'll put up a few DXF files and stuff if you want to try and make your own, but it's pretty straightforward. You can do it without a laser cutter, but you know, it's pretty time consuming even with one, so I don't know, up to you I guess. But thanks for watching, and hopefully that was interesting to some people.